But anyway, my old friend John, that's where I met John. And Dana and I used to go hear John play, and the Union Street Times play in the park up in Kansas City every Sunday. Free concerts in the park. It's like 1968, 69. And they were like a phenomenon, in Kansas City. All the other bands were doing what you expect bands to do, playing different kinds of genres of music, but in songs you've heard on the radio and, cover songs. And these guys came, they did some cover songs, but they did it in their own way. And they did a lot of songs we never heard of in Missouri, and it was because of John Vandiver. He was from Texas. He was good buddies with Michael Murphy and Jerry Jeff and all those guys, and he did a lot of their old songs that nobody heard of up there, except Bojangles and things like that. But a lot of great music, and it blew us all away. And like I said, I was lucky enough to become part of that band, travel around the country with it, and watch John. He was quite the musician and showman and everything. He was the grease monkey whenever the truck broke down on the road, Sometimes he would do the first set with grease on his knuckles from being under the truck so he could get to the gig. But I played with him for about 15 years. It was a wonderful time, and then John and Debbie were robbed and murdered in 1985 out in their home in Tomball. And John moved out to the country to get away from the craziness of the city, and he couldn't escape it. Somebody robbed him and killed them both, and we couldn't figure out who in the world would do anything like that. They had to be strangers, something random, And, but it turned out to be a guy that knew John, that worked on John's little MG sports car, and little grease monkey guy that needed some money. He was in trouble with some big guys, and he knew John had some money out of his place, and set up a bogus meeting with John to go out there and get into his house and pretty much kill him. So anyway, I was thinking about it afterwards. We were all in shock. They caught the guys that did it, thank goodness, to the officer up in Conroe, Jerry Renfro. He stayed on the case for about a year until he got them all four of them, found them, brought them to jail. They're all in Huntsville now. Been there since 1985. But regardless, I wanted to write a song about it, and just thinking about what I could say. And John always fancied him. John was an outlaw, kind of like Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings, those boys. They wouldn't harm a fly, but they lived a little bit outside the law in some manners. Too many laws in the books, some of them. That's the way John felt. But he said there's a difference between a criminal and an outlaw. An outlaw is just, there's too many laws outside the law, hurt anybody. Sometimes help people that need the help. Criminals are the ones that will do anything they have to do to get whatever they need, and that's what was the people that brought John and Debbie down were criminals. So when I was thinking about that, thinking about John, and fancied himself an outlaw. And one day, a couple of decades ago, we did an album with Dana and I, Michael Marcoullier, and John Vandiver called Coming Home. And we had some investors put some money into us, so we had to give them our real names and social security numbers, everything, legitimate. And later on the contract, I saw John's name. He put Angus Mustang down there instead of John Vandiver. Angus Mustang. And some bogus serial number, And I was thinking about that after he died, and was driving out by his place, and this little song kind of just came to me. Probably John laughing and sending it to me somehow, but it kind of just wrote itself pretty much. But it's a song about an outlaw, wasn't a criminal. Ballad of Angus Mustang. His neighbors didn't even know he played guitar. They just knew he was a nice old man that had a horse and a buggy and would take the kids for rides around the neighborhood on Saturday mornings. Say he was an outlaw, he lived outside the law. He never was a criminal, he never hurt no one. He children rides upon his pony, was a friend to everyone. It's a story about the gambler, the devil and the gun. It's a ballad of Angus Mustang, story hard to tell. I met him in his younger years, we rode together on the trail. From the Badlands of Dakota, across the wide Missouri plains. He robbed from the rich and gave it to the poor, like Robin Hood or Jesse James. They say he wasn't an outlaw, he lived his life that way. He never was a criminal, there's a difference he'd say. sheriff of Montgomery County found him face down on the floor, shot in the back by someone he knew. He let in the door. It was a little after midnight, so the story's told. 4 dirty little bandits came looking for some gold. Say he was an outlaw, he lived outside the law. Never was a criminal, no, he never hurt no one. He children rides upon his pony, was a friend to everyone. It's a story about the gambler, the devil and the gun. God bless the gambler, damn the devil, damn the gun. There you go. Ballad of Angus Mustang.